the first thing that you have to know is what kind of source it is. So, is it a book? Is it an article? Is it a conference paper? Whatever. This is a book called The Jobless Future. So, it is a book. I'm going to go to my reference list and I'm going to look for reference list books. This gives me an exam. This tells me step by step what I need to do, and this gives me an actual example of what that looks like in practice. The things that I'm going to look for are what's capitalized and what's not. Does it have regular font or is it in italics? Are there quotation marks? Is it underlined? What kind of punctuation is there? What kind of spacing is there? Where are there periods and not periods? All of that stuff is fair game in an APA citation, and it does make a difference what you do. So this one is the format for books. It would be the same format for any book. So once you learn the format for books, you don't have to wonder what you're supposed to do anymore. But for now, we're going to follow these examples step by step by step. So the first thing that I need is the author's last name with a comma, and then the first and middle initial, if there is a middle, with periods, and then year of publication. So if I have two authors, which I do here, I can look at this and see that they're separated by comma and then an ampersand. So I'm just going to put it right here. The author is Aronowitz, S, and DeFazio, W, period, with a parentheses, and they want the year of publication only. It says year. So even if they gave me a bunch of other information, they only want the year, so I'm going to put 1994. Period at the end. Next is the title of the work. You can see that it is in italics, so I'm going to do that. And only the first letter of the title is capitalized. No matter what you've been taught about capitalizing stuff, it probably won't work here. So you want to always pay attention to capitalization. This is the thing that gets most people, and this is the mistake that people make repeatedly over and over. So always check for what is supposed to be capitalized. They only want the first letter of the title and then the first letter after a colon. So I've got the jobless future with a period at the end. No matter how crazy I feel about writing it that way, I have to do it because it's what they want. I'm going to do the location, and this gives me a little note. List the city and the state using the 2-letter postal abbreviation. So here, my city is Minneapolis, and I don't want italics anymore. It doesn't tell me the state, but I know what the state is, and I'm required to include it. So I would have to find it if I didn't know. With a colon, and then the name of the publisher with a capital letter. And I'm always checking for capitals, so I'm making sure that they want everything capitalized, and they do for the publisher, because I can see the example there. So my publisher is University of Minnesota Press. Now this has to be double spaced, and this is not the best way to double space something, but for speed, I'm going to do it that way with a hanging indent. There is my book entry. So let's go on to this next entry. It says it's a book chapter entitled Desperation Loves Company, published here, Beyond, was edited by Janet McCabe. Okay, so I'm looking now for a book chapter, edited book, article or chapter in an edited book. This is what I want. This is a chapter in an edited book. So I'm going to follow this example right here. So the first thing it asks me for is author, year of publication, same as usual. So my authors of the chapter are Sherry Ann Schuler, M. Chad McBride, and Erica L. Kirby. Sherry Ann, oopsie, not that, Schuler, S, comma, because that's what I can see here. I have McBride, M. Chad, comma, and then an ampersand, because that's what I have here, and Kirby, E-L, period. Now I want the year of publication, 2006, with a period after it, because that's what this tells me. And now I want the title of the chapter, no italics, with only the first letter of the title capitalized. So the title of the chapter is, and see there are quotes here, but I don't want those quotes because there are no quotes anywhere over here in my example. So Desperation Loves Company. And then a colon, and then capital female, friendships, and the facade of female intimacy, with a period after it. And then I want in, so it's telling me that I have to name the editors now and then put eds after it. It is not in italics, and it wants the first name and middle initial first, which is different. So our editors are Janet McCabe and Kim Akas. So I have to put in J. McCabe and Kim, K-A-K-A-S-S. Then I look at this, comma, and then it wants the title of the book in italics with only the first letter capitalized. So I want some italics, and I'm calling it Reading Desperate Housewives. Again, I don't want these quotes. Reading Desperate Housewives. I am leaving Desperate Housewives capitalized because it's a proper noun. Reading Desperate Housewives, colon, beyond the white picket fence. And I'm not capitalizing those letters, even though I desperately want to. Now I'm putting the pages of the chapter, not in italics, in parentheses. This says when you list the pages of a chapter or essay in parentheses after the book title, use PP before. Normally you don't do that, but it's giving you a special note, so pay attention to the note. It refers to this type of entry only. Usually in APA, you're not labeling stuff. So we put PP, and our pages are 180 through 189. No period or anything after that. A period after the parenthesis. And then the location and the publisher. So my location is New York. This only tells me the state, but I know that I need the state. Only tells me the city, but I know that I need the state as well, with a colon and the name of the publisher, IB Taurus and Co. Ltd. Period. There's a period at the end of that entry. So I am going to double space it. And I know that's not the proper way to double space, but I'm doing it anyway. There we go. So there is that entry. So uniformly double spaced. So far, it looks like this. Okay. Next one is a journal article. So I need to find the entry for a journal article. So it says right here, articles and periodicals. So I click on that. The basic form, it gives me some text here. We have options for paginated by volume number and then issue number. So we have to check to see what we have here. So we want our journal article, we have a volume and an issue. So we're going to use this one, paginated by issue. Okay, so first thing always is the author and the year of publication. So our author or authors, we have Carla Bergen, Erica Kirby, and Chad McBride again. So we're going to start with Bergen, K, with a period and a comma. We have her middle initial is M. Next we have Erica Kirby. So Kirby, E period L, and I'm going to comma, because that's the way it looks in there, and McBride, MC, period, and year of publication. This says May of 2007, but they don't care about the month. They only want us to give the year with a period at the end, because that's what we know. Next is the title of the article. So we want to put that only capitalizing the first letter of the title, and it's not in italics or anything like that. So regular old print. How do you get to houses cleaned, colon, and then I'm going to capitalize accomplishing because it's the first letter after colon. Caregiving in commuter marriages. I desperately want to capitalize that stuff, but I'm not going to because it's against the rules. Next, I want the name of the title of the periodical, and that is going to be in italics. The volume number looks like it's also in italics. So, italics, the name of the journal is Journal of Family. Ooh, these are capitalized. Communication Research. Period. Right? Wrong. So I'm always checking. It wants me to put a comma after that. And then in parentheses, it wants the volume number, which is 7. Nope, not in parentheses. It wants the volume number, 7. And then this is where things like spacing count. There's no space between the volume and this parenthesis, but this parenthesis and the issue number are not in italics. So I'm going to copy that exactly. No space, no italics, issue number 2. And you can see I'm not putting the word volume or issue because that is not the way that it's listed here. They're not labeling it. Then I put a comma, and then they want the page numbers. And I'm not labeling the pages. I'm just putting the pages, 287 through 307, period at the end. Make sure it is double spaced.